The skies over Varela were once full of music and lights, long ago. The cities on this peaceful alien world were busy with laughter, trade, and festivals. Children flew small hovercrafts across pink clouds, and giant crystal towers touched the stars. But now, all of that was gone. Dark smoke covered the skies. The Dravik swarm had come. The Dravik were cruel insect-like creatures. They did not speak. They did not show mercy. They only invaded, devoured, and moved on. No one could stop them easily, not even the Great Galactic Coalition. When Varela first called for help, the Coalition promised aid. But when the swarm attacked the outer colonies, that promise broke. The leaders said it was too dangerous and not worth the resources. One by one, the Coalition ships left. Soon, the whole planet was under attack, except for one last city, Falon it stood near. A mountain ridge, protected by old defense shields and brave volunteers. The shields were weak, the food was low, the people were tired, but they still stood. Among them was a young commander named Scifi. She had soft blue skin, short silver hair, and deep green eyes that burned with anger and hope. She stood on the city wall, holding a pair of binoculars. Smoke rose in the distance. Far off, flashes of light showed another colony falling. She lowered the binoculars with a heavy heart. A soldier approached her. "Commander," he said, "the north gates are holding. For now." Sarah nodded. "Good. Keep the teams moving. Don't let anyone give up." The soldier hesitated. "Commander, we've sent 14 distress signals." No reply. Sarah looked at him. "Then we keep sending 15, 16, 17 until someone listens." Inside the city, people moved like shadows. Old engineers worked with rusty tools to fix broken energy grids. Children stayed hidden in underground shelters. Doctors helped the wounded with limited supplies. Everyone was doing their best. But they knew the truth: Felonis could not last much longer. That night, the city lights flickered. Outside the wall, the sound of wings echoed in the sky. Dravik scouts. The warning sirens howled. Soldiers rushed to their posts. Sarah ran to the main control tower. "They're coming," someone shouted. From the ridge, glowing red eyes stared through the darkness. Hundreds of flying shapes moved toward the city. Sarah spoke calmly through the speakers. "All defense teams, stay ready. This is our home. We fight here. We live here. We protect each other." The first wave hit the shield. Sparks flew. The city shook. The defense cannons fired, but they were slow and old. Several Dravik broke through. Chaos followed. Sarah ran into the streets with a blaster. She helped pull a child out from under rubble. "Get to shelter," she shouted. Falon was not going to last another day. Then suddenly the sky changed. A strange blue light appeared above the city. It wasn't from the swarm. It was from something else. A small fleet of silver ships came down from the clouds, fast, sharp, silent. Boom. One of the Dravik carriers exploded midair. People on the ground stared in shock. Sarah looked up. She had never seen these ships before. They weren't Coalition. They were different, simpler, stronger, and human. Then a voice crackled through the city's broken speakers. It was rough, steady, and full of strength. "This is Captain Darnell, Earth Defense Fleet. Hold your ground. Reinforcements incoming." For a moment, no one spoke. No one even moved. People didn't believe what they heard. Sarah blinked. "Earth, the humans." The voice came again, clearer. "You called for help. We answered. Let's show these bugs what happens when you push too far." The human ships moved with speed and precision. They shot down Dravik in seconds. Then, sleek drop pods fell from the ships, landing with a thud inside the city. From them, armored human soldiers stepped out, tall, calm, and ready. One soldier walked toward Sarah. His armor was scratched but strong. He lifted his helmet and looked at her with steady brown eyes. "Commander Sarah," he asked. She nodded. Still stunned, "I'm Lieutenant Ray Torres. My captain says we've got your back." Sarah didn't know what to say. No one had come for so long. No one believed Varela mattered. But the humans came, and they came to fight. Sarah finally found her voice. "Welcome to Phalonis, Lieutenant." He smiled. "Let's save it," as the humans joined the defense. Hope returned to the hearts of the Varellans for the first time in many days. People lifted their heads and believed again Phalonis would not fall tonight, not while humans stood beside them. The sun rose slowly over the broken walls of Phalonis. Smoke still drifted from the rooftops, and the scent of fire hung in the air. But something was different now. Hope. For the first time in weeks, the people of Varel woke up without fear in their eyes. Human ships hovered above the city, glowing like silver birds. Their lights were steady, their presence strong. Commander Sarah Valen stood beside a makeshift landing pad near the city square. A group of armored human soldiers unloaded supplies boxes of food, energy packs, and clean water. "This is more than we've had in days," a Varellan medic whispered in surprise. Sarah watched the humans move with calm, careful steps. They didn't act like heroes. They worked like people who had seen too much war. Quiet, focused, tired, but never stopping. She turned to Lieutenant Ray Torres, the man who had greeted her the night before. "We thought your kind never cared about this side of the galaxy," she said. Torres gave a short smile. "Most don't. But Captain Darnell, he remembers what it's like to be forgotten." Sarah nodded slowly. "He sounds like a good leader." "He is. He's also stubborn as a brick wall." Suddenly, a human engineer ran over. "Lieutenant, Captain Darnell wants you and the commander at the wall. Swarm movement north side." Sarah and Torres ran across the broken streets, passing human and Varellan soldiers working side by side. They reached the high tower where Captain Darnell stood. Wearing simple black armor with Earth's faded emblem on the chest, he didn't turn when they arrived. His eyes were fixed on the horizon. Through his binoculars, he watched the black clouds. "More Dravik flyers gathering. They're testing us," he said, looking for weak points. Sarah stepped beside him. "We have many." Darnell finally looked at her. "So do we. But the trick is to hit harder than they expect." Below them, human soldiers helped Varellan engineers install new defense cannons. The humans shared blueprints and parts from their own ships. Varellans, though unfamiliar with human tech, learned fast. "You build things simple." A Varellan mechanic commented to a human. "We build things that work." The human replied with a wink. Soon, the city began to look like a mix of two worlds. Varellan towers with Earth weapons, human supply drones flying beside crystal spires, and soldiers of both races patrolling together. At night, around small fires, stories were shared. One human told of growing up on a mining colony attacked by pirates. Varellan shared memories of the sky festivals, now only a dream. Sarah sat with Captain Darnell one evening on the edge of a rooftop. She offered him a piece of dried root cake, of Varellan food. He took it politely and nodded. "Tough, but not bad." She smiled. "You've earned it." Darnell looked at the dark sky. "We lost his ships getting here. Earth Command didn't even approve this mission. You disobeyed orders. I followed the right ones." Sarah was silent for a moment. Then she said, "You were the only ones who came. The coalition ran, left us." Darnell nodded slowly. "That's because they forgot something. Victory isn't about numbers. It's about standing with those who need you even when it's hard." Suddenly, alarms blared. The Dravik had returned. Sarah and Darnell rushed to the command post. A swarm of flyers moved fast toward the east gate. Human exosuit soldiers lined up beside Varellan sharpshooters, old defense towers, now rebuilt with Earth parts, powered up and aimed toward the sky. "Don't let them break through," Torres shouted. The first wave hit, but this time the walls held. Lasers from human rifles cut through the air. Explosive drones buzzed around the swarm and detonated with sharp blasts. Varellan ground teams backed them up with long-range fire. Sarah fought alongside the others. Her rifle was human-made, and it felt heavy, but strong. She fired, ducked, moved, and led with courage. Then a cry rang out. A tower. Was it? Fire burst. From the east side, a team of human soldiers were trapped. Sarah didn't wait. She grabbed a small group and charged through falling rubble. Inside the tower, flames blocked the path. A human soldier coughed, struggling to move. Sarah lifted him up with both arms. "You're not dying here," she said with her team covering. They pulled out every trapped soldier. Once safe, the humans looked at her with surprise. "You risked everything," one said. Sarah only answered, "You did it first." By dawn, the battle was over. The Dravik retreated, leaving behind smoke and wreckage. But the city stood. Sarah and Darnell walked through the battered streets, checking on people. "Another day survived," she said. "Another message sent," he replied. "We're not leaving." People gathered near the square. Varellans, humans, young, old. They didn't need words. They simply stood together. And the galaxy, listening quietly from afar, began to whisper something new. Maybe Earth was small, but its people were not. The city of Phalonis had survived another attack. The walls were cracked. The towers were scorched. But the people stood strong, and they were no longer standing alone. Humans and Varellans worked side by side. Broken streets were cleared, new barricades were built, food was shared, and even laughter returned in small moments. Commander Sarah Valen walked through the central plaza. She saw a group of Varellan children sharing fruit, with a human soldier who made funny shapes with his metal gloves. The children giggled. The soldier smiled. It felt like a new beginning. But deep inside, Sarah knew the danger was far from over. In the command center, she met with Captain Darnell, Sergeant Keegan, and her top advisors. A large map showed the planet with red markers spreading across the surface. "The Dravik are regrouping," said Keegan. "They lost the last battle, but they're not gone. They're learning, and they're angry." Sarah looked at the markers. "We're still alone out here." Captain Darnell nodded. "Earth can't send more ships. We came without permission. And now, we're running low." "On what?" "Everything." Human supplies were almost empty. Their ammo crates were half full. Their fuel cells were fading. Even their drones needed repairs. But they didn't complain. Darnell looked around the room. "We'll hold the line until the end." Sarah felt a quiet respect for the human captain. He wasn't loud or proud, but he led with strength, real strength. The kind that didn't need to shout. Later that day, she visited the old archives in the city's heart. The building had once been a place of learning. Now, it was half ruined. But inside, she found something important, a hidden cache of ancient Varellan power cores. "These could recharge your weapons," she told Darnell that night. He looked at the cores, his eyes lighting up. "You're serious? They're old, but still strong. We forgot them. But now, maybe they can help." The two commanders worked together, linking human machines with Varellan tech. Engineers from both sides built something new, a defense grid powered by both Earth and Viewership. As the days passed, bonds grew stronger. Sarah trained with human soldiers. She learned how they fought with teamwork, courage, and clever tricks. Darnell visited Varellan schools, helping rebuild and teach. "Knowledge is a weapon too," he told the children. One night, Sarah sat with Darnell on the high tower, watching the stars. "You risked everything coming here," she said, "even your career." Darnell gave a small shrug. "Orders don't mean much if you forget what's right. But your people, they'll understand, or they won't." "I didn't come to be understood. I came because no one else did." Sarah looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "You could have saved your soldiers, turned around. But you stayed." He looked at her. "So did you?" Just then, an urgent signal beeped. It was a message from the Galactic Coalition. Sarah opened it on the screen. "To the remaining defenders of Varela, the Coalition High Command advises all Earth defense units to retreat immediately. Your presence is unauthorized. Do not escalate conflict. Varela is not essential. Withdraw." The room went silent. Captain Darnell stared at the message. Then he looked at Sarah. "They still don't care." Sarah's voice was calm, but sharp. "They abandoned us once. They'll do it again." Another human officer stepped forward. "Sir, what's the plan?" Darnell didn't hesitate. "We stay." His voice was firm. "We don't leave friends behind. Not now. Not ever." Later that evening, Darnell recorded a reply to Earth Command. He stood in front of a broken wall. Soldiers working in the background. This is Captain Darnell of the Earth Defense Fleet. I received your message, but I didn't come here to follow politics. I came to help people who were left to die. So no, I won't withdraw. If this ends my career, so be it. If it ends my life, that's fine too. I stand with Varela, not because they're human, but because they're right. He sent the message. That night, news of his words spread across the galaxy. Some mocked him, but many others listened and remembered what courage looked like. In secret, other small worlds whispered, maybe Earth still has honor. And in Felonis, humans and Varelans stood together in silence, waiting for the next wave. They were tired, outnumbered, low on everything, but they were no longer afraid. Because now, they knew, they were not alone. The dawn broke with an uneasy silence. The city of Felonis held its breath. The quiet was not peace, it was the calm before the storm. The Dravik swarm had gathered like a dark cloud on the horizon. Their numbers were greater than before. They came with wings buzzing, claws ready, and hunger burning in their eyes. Commander Sarah Valen stood on the city's highest wall, watching the black wave roll closer. Beside her, Captain Darnell and Lieutenant Torres prepared their troops. This is it, Sarah said. Her voice was steady, but inside, a storm raged. If we fall today, Felonis falls forever. Darnell looked at her. Then we fight like never before. Not just to survive, but to show the galaxy that some lives matter. The city was ready. Years of preparation had been replaced by weeks of desperation. Broken weapons were fixed, old cannons rebuilt. Human engineers and Varellan mechanics worked day and night. Small groups of civilians carried supplies, tended to the wounded, and helped where they could. Everyone has a role, Sarah said. Every hand counts. The sky darkened as the Dravik swarm filled the air. Thousands of them, a living storm of teeth and wings. Human plasma mortars lit up the skies, firing bolts of glowing energy that exploded in bursts. Orbital cannons, salvaged from ancient Varellan relics and powered by Earth's technology, fired powerful blasts that tore holes in the swarm. Down below, soldiers in heavy exosuits marched side by side with Varellan sharpshooters. They shouted, "Commands, move as one." Sarah fought on the front lines, rifle in hand. The heavy human weapon was different from her usual gear, but she trusted its power. "Hold the east wall," she shouted to her squad. The Dravik crashed against the defenses like waves on stone. They broke through once, twice, but human and Varellan soldiers pushed back with fierce determination. Sergeant Keegan led a squad deep into the swarm, using jetpacks to strike from above. His team released swarms of micro-drones that exploded on contact, clearing the way. Sarah watched as a young Varellan girl, no older than 12, handed out small energy grenades to fighters. "Thank you," one human said softly. "You're braver than most adults I know." The girl smiled, eyes shining with hope. Hours passed. The battle raged, explosions rocked the walls, fire spread in places. Many fighters fell, but still, they fought. At one point, the Dravik managed to breach a section of the wall. Panic rippled through the defenders. Sarah rushed to the breach with a small team. They fought tooth and nail in narrow alleys and broken buildings, pushed them back. She ordered. With combined human grenades and Varellan blade skills, they drove the swarm out. Breathing heavily, Sarah looked at the faces around her, tired, bloody, but unbroken. The sun began to rise as the Dravik retreated. The city was battered, but still standing. On the wall, Captain Darnell raised his hand to those who fought and fell. He said, voice loud enough for all to hear, "You showed the galaxy what true courage is." A hush fell, then applause. Soldiers, civilians, young and old, cheered. In the quiet after the battle, Sarah met with Darnell. "We survived," she said, voice soft. "We did," he agreed. "But at what cost?" Darnell looked out over the city. "Were always costs. But today, we won more than battles. We won respect. We won hope." The people of Felonis rebuilt slowly. New defenses rose. New friendships grew. The Galactic Coalition sent ships to observe. Some offered aid, but Sarah shook her head. "We only accept help from those who fought with us." The humans had become more than allies, they were family. Captain Darnell prepared to lead the fleet onward. There were other worlds left behind, others waiting for help. Sierra stopped him before he left. "Will you come back?" He smiled. "Wherever you stand, so will we." The Dravik might return, but so would the fire in Felonis, a fire no enemy, no matter how fierce, could ever put out. The Dravik swarm had been pushed back, but the fight was far from over. The city of Felonis still bore the scars of battle-cracked walls, smoldering ruins, and silent streets. Where laughter once lived. Yet, in every corner, a new spirit burned stronger than fire. It was the spirit of survival, hope, and unity. Commander Sierra Valen stood at the city gates, watching the sky. Human ships hovered nearby, their silver shapes bright against the blue. Captain Darnell and his crew prepared to leave, their mission here nearly complete. But something was different now. Felonis was not the broken city they first saved. It was a symbol, a beacon. The Galactic Coalition had finally arrived in force. Their warships gleamed, offering help and honor. But Sierra and Darnell shared a knowing glance. They did not want empty promises or distant praise. The Coalition had abandoned Varela before. They would not be trusted again so easily. Sierra stepped forward when the Coalition's admiral came to offer aid. "We thank you," she said, "but we only accept help from those who fought beside us." The admiral's face darkened, but he said nothing. The humans were different. They had risked everything for a world many thought not worth saving. They stayed when others fled. They fought when others looked away. Captain Darnell spoke at a gathering in the city square. "To those who stand with us," he said, "we are not heroes. We are simply human, and humans protect their friends." Children from Varela watched with wide eyes as humans helped rebuild homes, train soldiers, and teach new skills. A young Varelan girl approached Sierra, holding a small, handmade flag, a mix of earth and Varelan colors. "For you," she said shyly, "for us." Sierra smiled and took the flag. "We fight for all of us." As the days passed, whispers spread across the galaxy. Stories of the small human fleet standing against impossible odds. Stories of courage, loyalty, and unexpected friendship. Other forgotten worlds began to rise, inspired by Earth's example. Captain Darnell prepared his fleet to leave. Before he did, Sierra offered him a hand. "Will you come back?" she asked. He nodded firmly. "We will fight together, not just for Varela, but for every world left behind." And so, the humans and Varelans forged a new alliance, not built on politics or power, but on shared hope and trust. The Dravik threat was not gone, but now the galaxy knew something new. When others turned away, humans would stand. A flame had been lit, a flame that would never die.